because I said I use it every time, but it's a new laptop, so I didn't realize all this was
Okay.
before it catches my talking. Hi, good afternoon. It got my taco. Can you believe it? Anyway, hello, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you're joining us from. My name is Brenda Unu, and I'm super excited to have you on another edition of Women's Matters. So, if you're here, first of all, sorry for joining late. I have a new laptop, and it was giving me, I don't even understand. I was really struggling with it for a bit, but thank God we're alive now and all is well. So tell me if you can see me, you can hear me. Let me know where you're joining us from, and let us get right into it. So it is still our Right to Rise to Right series. And today I have another fabulous author in the building. And her name is Dr. Barisi Ali Barano. So, you know how we do it here. We don't introduce our guests. We let them introduce themselves. We let them toot their own horns to shout to the world, who are you and what do we need to talk to you about? So, Dr. Barisiale, please let us meet you.
Good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching us from. So my name is Dr. Barisiale Sukabarano, and I'm a lecturer, I'm a mother, I'm a businesswoman, and newly, I'm a new writer in the building. So that's a summary of who I am. Yeah.
Awesome. Nice to meet you. I mean, tell us, how is it like being an academic? I mean, I hear doctor and I'm thinking, hey, God, God, when am I going to do PhD? Hey. So tell us, how is it like being an academic? Yeah, as in you actually teach in university, right?
Yes, I do. So it's
Hi.
actually nice to be in academics because it kind of helps your mind to be sharp all the time. And it gives you an edge in certain situations like family issues. You're already used to solving conflicts in school with your
Right.
students. It gives you a platform to be so many things to different people. And it also gives you the opportunity to meet young people that turn out to be really amazing people in the future. So I've mentored a few students that I still see them as young children, but I've met them over the years, and they are no more children. They are actually very big men and
Yes,
women.
now
So, the
graduates and
beauty,
all now doing big
I'm
things.
telling you. So for me, one of the beautiful things about being in the academics is you get to teach people, you learn from them, and sometimes they don't actually know you're learning from them. So
Yeah,
yes, so
absolutely.
you learn from them, then you have a kind of connection with so many people. You get to places where you're working as an ordinary person, and then suddenly you meet somebody that makes you feel
Are
so
you taught?
special. Yes, and it makes all the stress worth it at the end of the day. It's a
Yeah, I
beautiful
can
thing.
imagine. I can imagine that would really be very beautiful. I mean, yesterday I was just telling you before the call that I'm doing a program at the LBS, the Lagos Business School, and it's been so interesting because it's been a while I went to school, right? So I mean, after university, because of kind of course I did, our master's was immediate, So after university's master's, then I didn't go to any school again till about maybe 2016, and I wrote my professional exam. Okay, first of all, in context, I finished school like 2004. So like 12 years before I even did any kind of exam. So my professional exam 2016, then 2 years ago, 2023, I did PMP, another professional exam. So just keep the brain working. So now 2 years after, I'm thinking, okay, let's just do this. It's a 5-month course. And it's been so interesting. I've been looking at it and thinking, I could totally go back to school. But I met a
Exactly.
lecturer there yesterday and he blew my mind. He said he had been teaching at LBS for 33 years. And I'm like, come
Wow.
on now. How old are you,
Wow.
sir?
That's
I'm thinking,
beautiful.
I'm thinking, wow. And he was just telling us about how, he had been there from day one. He had met all the different groups and, even started rattling up names of people that they had taught. And you
Wow,
can imagine how highly placed those people are. So I can almost
exactly.
relate to what you're saying. Like I can imagine that it's very fulfilling and all of that. I used to say that in my other life, if I wasn't doing what I'm doing, I would be a teacher. I could totally be
Really?
but lecturer, not secondary school teacher. I cannot. I cannot with those teenagers. But I think I can manage the young adults.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll go and do another degree, become a doctor like you, and maybe who knows?
You're already
All
on the
right.
path now. So maybe you will just go into their literary department and teach them how to write books.
Here you see, who
You can be
knows?
a
Who
pro bono
knows?
lecturer, actually. They would love that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did
love
think
that.
about it once upon a time because we had those kind of lecturers in our time too that used to just come, from the nearby towns to teach us. I thought about it that it's something I would like to do even after a
Yeah,
while to give back. So maybe I could
exactly.
I could think about it. Thank you for reminding me of one of my promises to myself back then. Alrighty, so I'm super excited to have you here today, honestly, and it's what am I looking for? I'm actually trying to find our life because sometimes this my phone used to behave like something else.
Okay.
Um, okay, but I have already seen it. I know that we're live. I just wish I could hear. Okay, I know that we're live. I've seen it anyway. So back
I
to
want to know if
something.
the audio is working.
Yeah, I wanted to even see. I wanted to see. Yes, exactly, to know who's watching and all of that, and maybe see the comments if there are any. But anyway, we'll just go right ahead. I'm sure it would resolve later. Back to you. So from academics, you now say you want to come and write about what, you're an academic, you want to write book. Why are you not writing academic book? Why are you writing all these kind of things? Please tell us, tell us, tell us, tell us. How did it come about? What was going through your mind? Why did you select to write about relationships? What was it?
Okay,
How did we
so
land here?
I already write academic work, but it's totally different. And
Totally different.
sometimes, yeah, sometimes you just delve into something and you're learning it. It may not really flow naturally until you do it over time. But I
Mhm, mhm.
I've always admired writing. I got into writing very early, or got to love writing very early. So my first experience
Okay.
was when I just finished secondary school. So I didn't get into the university. I was very moody. And I always sat outside staring into space. And my mom called me and said, "You're too young to be this emotional. Put your thoughts into words." And that was the game
Oh,
changer for me. Yes. So my dad got me a lovely book. I have a bit of a kinesthetic reading style, so I love to see
mm,
pictures. So he got me a book that had some pictures, a jotter, and that was the beginning of my journaling. But I never thought of, you know, being an author
it as a thing.
until,
Mm,
yes, as a thing, until I came across you actually. There are some things that is like a dream. You think about, well, to be a nice to have. Then I
mm,
saw my wonderful architect, business guru, and suddenly I'm hearing that you're also writing. So it got me thinking like, you can
mm,
actually do this thing. And when your program came in, when you were asking, the teachings you were giving made us
mm.
understand that you have to feel what you want to write about. It has to come naturally so it can flow. And you
Yeah.
gave us like a target of 3,000 words, how many thousand words. So it was like, what am I going to write on that can give me this number of words? And I thought about it and I was like, I love friendship. I'm a very devoted friend. I'm a very loyal friend. And I like to do
Target of
things,
3,000
you
words.
know. So I told myself, okay,
Yeah.
fine, maybe I should write about myself. And
Mhm,
over the weeks of the lectures, I started arranging it, rearranging it, and suddenly I found myself in the relationship spectrum, which is beginning to
mm,
feel kind of natural. And it was easy for me to bring out the words because, I mean, having stayed around people for over 3 decades, 4 decades actually, you have a
mm.
lot to say, a lot of experiences to share. So I just thought to share my experiences and the experiences of wonderful men and women around me in a fictional form, of course. So yeah,
Wow.
that's how
Okay,
it
so
came
so
about.
it's in a fictional form.
Yes, it's in a fictional form because, one of the classes we had, you mentioned something about some sensitive things that you may want to write about, but you just need to look for a way to manage
Mm,
emotions and all that. So I thought of it, and I don't have it at the tip of my tongue now, but I think one of the first exercises you gave us on the platform that we should write on a picture or something like that. So the
mhm.
corrections made me understand that you can actually have a truth background and change it in such a way that it can actually appeal to those that are reading.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like that you put it that way because to be honest, a lot of people are struggling with stuff like that. They have so many things they want to share, and they're saying to themselves that, oh, if I share this, how will people look at it and all of that? And
yeah,
they're now making the world lose out amazing they have to share. You see, the amazing message that they have just because they're afraid of being personal. And you don't really blame somebody. For example, something on relationships, you can't tell your story without it affecting another person because relationship is
yeah,
you and somebody else, right? So
exactly.
it's not just your story to tell that you say, "Ah, forget it. To hell with anybody that is not concerned. It's my story, it's my story. No, you can't do that, right?
We can't do
So
that. Yeah.
of course we have to be very sensitive about what we are doing. So I mean, I wrote a book once and I was like, no, these things are personal. Oh. No, I said, we're going to change this into a story. So I changed it and I shuffled everything. I changed it as I changed the thing. Even my own mother did not recognize my own story inside it. So when I was introducing the book and I said, I'm writing a couple of stories. You know, some of them are mine, some of them are not mine. From other people. It will be fun you guessing which is which. And that's how
Exactly.
I threw it out there. I said my own mother was like, it was my husband. I was saying, this one's your story. You've told me this one before. I said, no, it's not me. I don't know what to talk about. It was just fun. Having to, guess like that and all of that. So I kind of
Yeah,
enjoyed it. So for me, it was liberating. And so I thought of anybody can do that, you see. And at the
exactly.
end of the day, so far as you keep the message, and there's something about stories, right, that teaches faster than anything else. Because the way it is, the way we are created, you know how when we're small, they will sit us down, story, the tortoise and the hare. Do you see?
Exactly.
And they will teach you deep lessons from that tortoise and hare. You now hear
Yeah.
what's the moral of the story. You will never forget that moral. Do you see?
Exactly.
There's a
Yeah.
story from my childhood I can never forget. The one of the tortoise and the hare, literally, that I just said. Because how,
Mm.
remember the story, how the hare was like, you cannot race me. You tortoise, the slowest animal on earth. How are you going to
Yeah.
race me? And it was like, let's
Mm.
go. But the tortoise gathered all his family members. They all look alike. And just all of you stand one in each of the parts. So the hare would run. He'd run so fast. He get there and he meets the tortoise already waiting. It's like, how did this small animal get here? That will just quickly go small, small, now enter inside bush again. The next thing, he will run again. He gets to the next point. He meets another tortoise. Like, So that was how the tortoise outsmarted the hare. And he was now the main tortoise that was at the front waiting for him at the line. He was thinking, how in heaven's name did this guy beat me? Till today, he doesn't know how it was. So it was two things we learned from that story. How, you don't have to always do conventional things. Now, it's not about being
Exactly.
deceitful. It's just about being
True.
thinking outside of the box, right?
Exactly.
And also, it's not good to brag because after all the hairs bragging, Shebi, they still beat him in the
They
race,
still beat
and he was
him.
not humbled. you know. So I mean, so those kind of things teach you lessons that go a long. I mean, I could not have more than 5 or 6 or 7 when I heard that story, right? And today, this is like what 40 years on. I'm still telling the story. So that's how deeply stories communicate to us. So which is why I always tell people, if you can tell a story, by all means, give it to us. And as much as possible, draw the lesson back so that, we don't forget. Because sometimes we're such a good storyteller that
Yes,
we're
you
just
forget.
immersed in the story and we forget the lesson, right? So
That's
yeah,
true. That's
absolutely,
true.
absolutely. So I love it. So tell me about your experience, first of all, writing. When you decided that, okay, I want to now write, how did it go? Were you overwhelmed? Was it easy breezy? I mean, since you had been writing as a kid and also you write academic stuff, was it easy breezy for you? Or was there a learning curve? Did you have to how was it?
It wasn't easy breezy, like I said, academic stuff is different. And the things I wrote as a child usually had it was more like what I was feeling, like I was told to write. So I could just
Okay.
write poems. You're not really thinking of how they connect.
Mm,
It's just like pouring your feelings. And it was different for me and challenging. So the first few weeks I was confused. When you think you know something or you think I've been doing this thing, it shouldn't be difficult for me. Like everybody will say, yeah, in academics, writing is not a problem. But this
oh,
is different. So
mhm,
first of all, I struggled with getting a topic. If you remember, you
mm.
asked us for topics, and I kept thinking, I remember giving you one, and you said, this is not an academic work. So I had to tell myself, Omo, look at it very well. Like, what is it you want to talk about? So I started thinking, and it was a moment of healing for me, I must say, because
Mm,
in trying to understand relationships, I I spoke to somebody that did a PhD, and that's what he talks about, relationships from different perspectives and stuff. And then
okay.
because I still have this academia mindset of research, it was
Mm,
a problem because I kept wanting to do it. And then I'll do something and I remember what you said. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is not a publication on any research work. This is different. And I called up he's a priest actually. So I called him up and I told him that
mm,
the first book I had that made me think about writing was a gift from him. And the book is Persons Are Gifts. So he told
mm,
me, okay, there is somebody that I'll link you to that will tell you one or two things about relationships. And suddenly I realized that there are so many theories and school of thoughts on relationships. So
exactly.
that was where I found my peace because I suddenly entered my
Deliverance.
zone. Yeah, I
Because
suddenly
to be
entered my zone.
honest, yes,
Yeah.
this is what I tell, writers. Say, you are not going to tell us what we've not heard before. In fact,
Mm,
what you need to do is to find out if you have a message, right? You have a message, you have a topic, a broad topic, like you've decided that okay, it's relationship you want to do. Look around. What has been written about relationships? And what do you think is missing from all the books you were reading about relationships? So that you can add to the existing body of knowledge. You know, you are not about to, discard everything that's been written since before you were born and say, no, I'm the only one that knows now. Holy Spirit has revealed to me. Auntie, it's not really like that.
it's not
So
like that.
you're going to add to the existing body of knowledge. So you should rather look for a gap in the messaging that you have seen. Something that you say, okay, I think I can speak on this. Or take something from your personal experience, something that you have actually, and build it into a whole message. And because I always tell people that we go through things for a reason. We go through stuff for a reason. It's not even a joke. And anything you're going through, you're not alone. There are like many other people in the world going through it. And so if you've gone through something, you should be able to look back and help those that are going through it. Do you see? I mean, I was talking to somebody that day, and what was she talking to me about? Okay, she's having her first pregnancy. It's been so difficult. And she's like, please, mama, how in heaven's name did you do this 4 times? Like there's no way she's having another child after that. I'm like, I say, yeah. I
Calm
said that
down
today.
first.
I said it today. I said, listen, my first pregnancy nearly took my life. Like I nearly died. In fact, what are you saying?
Wow.
I died and came back. Because I woke up and met my mother on the floor with her rosary and her Bible. And the
Are
minute I
you
opened my eyes,
serious?
she was rolling on the floor. Thank you, Jesus. So that means I've gone. They were looking for her to bring back. It was so bad that I had gone, I had done the CS, right? And they had told them to say, um, they had, hey, me that to them to give me, to make me sleep. I want to be awake, please. I want to sleep.
Okay.
Now, I didn't realize that that was a dangerous thing to do, right? And the doctor should have known better than to listen to me. But I
Mm.
was also dealing with high BP. So they probably thought that maybe the sleeping would help me,
It was
whatever,
better,
calm me down. I
exactly.
don't know. But somehow or the other, they had been giving me stuff for sleeping since morning, trying to calm down the BP, but it wasn't working. So she doubled the dose. Now, dear people of God, I have the baby came out, and they did not see the mother. The mother was not coming back to And my husband had just flown in from, where he had jumped down from his site because it was an emergency CS, jumped down from his site, ran to the airport. So he was tired. And my mom said, you know what, you should go home and sleep. I mean, you have seen your own child. As for me and my family, I'm going to stay here until I see my own. So you can go. And it's like, Mom, are you sure? Because you are dozing off on the waiting chair, just be going home. That we call you when she wakes up. And so he went home to sleep. Our house was not very far from the hospital. And so I woke up in like what must have been very wee hours of the morning. And I had my baby at 4 p.m. I mean, it's written on the birth certificate. So imagine waking up at wee hours of the morning from a search from a CS that you should wake up like when you do this, it's like 1 hour, 2 hours,
Flexible
person should be
needs,
up.
yes.
So you can imagine everybody was panicking by this time that what's going on, what can we do? And everything. My mother was just on the ground with her rosary and her Bible, like saying, Dear Jesus, I gave birth to this child, she didn't kill me. Child cannot kill her, it's not possible. She's gonna come
Telling
back.
you,
And
yes.
so this is just to show you how terrible my first pregnancy was. But I went to have three more. So I went to tell her that, my dear, dear, there's something about pregnancy that God does. That the minute you see that child, all the
Thing disappeared.
I don't know how he does it. You don't remember any single part of it. So
Anything.
as in, it's
True.
unbelievable. I don't remember anything, you know? And so that's what I said. So I said, after you have the baby, you can come back and see this thing. For now, you're just talking from your. So I just realized that, stuff like that we should share so that people are aware that,
Yes.
this is what it is. This is what we expect. So she's like, why does nobody tell you these things? Like, how is this thing so terrible that she cannot even feel her legs ahead? She's like, what is this? I was just laughing. I said, Auntie, you're
The
just
unique
irritated.
thing is it's different for every
Each
child.
person.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm,
so you can't really say like my experience was I usually lose weight when I'm pregnant. So
Imagine
I
that.
would lose a lot of weight, look really pretty, and
Mm,
very strong. It's just the tummy that is protruding. And the
mm.
second I give birth, once the baby start doing then I
You
start
start getting big.
blowing
Can
up
you
and
imagine?
everything. So I cannot, when women see me, they ask me, how do you do it?
Mm,
I've had to have babies doing postgraduate programs and all that, and I do very well. So as an academic person too, it has been a challenge for me because I really believe that pregnancy is a problem in studying. So I tell them you can be slow, I would accept that, but that the brain
mm,
is not functioning, it's not true. That may
mm.
just be my own experience because I know when the body is tired, a lot of persons don't have the zeal, to
Yeah.
want to put things up. Yeah. So even if you tell somebody this is easy peasy, it's not going to work. In fact, my pain threshold, it's amazing because if something falls on my feet, I can scream, Jesus, Lord of Jesus. But when I'm
Mm,
in the labor room, I
mm,
don't say a word. Like you just maybe I'll hold the rail of the bedding, just
mm,
that kind of thing. So my husband was there for the birth of my third child, and apparently he thought it was easy peasy because a young lady walked up to me and said, I'm so scared. I have a few weeks to go and I need to know what to do. And my husband said, don't worry, it's not painful. I mean, my wife cannot stand pain, but she could stand it. And I told him, when this woman is in the labor room, she will call your
Remember
name and
you.
say he lied to me. So yes, you can't really say this is how it's going to be. It has to be a personal experience. Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is another thing that leads me to when you are sharing on broad topics like, relationships and co. I know that everybody has their own experience, everybody has their own experience. And while there are some broad principles for things like this that are pertain to everything in life, it's like wealth. If you want to talk about wealth, there are broad principles for it, right?
True.
And while some people say you walk, 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 walk until you can walk no more, put your head inside. Some people will say, you know what, just find something you love to do, chill, and let the money work for you. So, but there are principles, right? That seed time and harvest and all of that. So there are basic principles that you can use. So how then do you, write about something that is so broad and so varied without, especially because you're an academic and you're used to delivering factual information. So how then do you separate, how do you separate your life, literally, literally speaking? How do you separate how do you partition your mind to say, okay, this one is not
Surely,
academic writing, no, is
yes.
not, I'm not researching anything, I'm just telling my story. I mean,
Mm.
how do you grapple with the fact that, oh, I'm not putting facts and figures inside this matter, or I'm just like telling people a story of my life or of somebody's life that I've seen, that kind of thing. How are you able to separate them? Because I know a lot of people struggle with things like this. Somebody says, "Ah, I can't write, I can never write. I mean this, I mean that, I mean this, I mean that." But I'm
Mm.
like, here's an academic here telling you she can write fiction. Are you kidding me? You too can write. So tell us, how was it for you?
Okay, so like I said, when I got into the idea of theories, I knew that for it to be believable, it has to come from a source of truth, and then
Hmm.
you can now arrange it properly. And I thought
Yeah.
about it, what is the biggest challenge in relationships? So
Mm,
there are so many kinds of facets of relationships. So I needed to talk about something that was something I could relate with and a lot of other women and men could relate with. And that had to do with connecting the basic core relationships, which is like family. So I
yeah.
thought about it. If you have something in your mind and your partner also has the same thing, if there is no communication,
Mm,
you will have issues. You can actually communicate as well, and the person is hearing a different thing, and you're
mm,
hearing a different thing. So there's this school of thought that when you're talking to somebody, after asking a question, you should tell the person to repeat it back to you so
yeah.
that you're
To be sure
sure
that they
that you're on the
understand.
same page. Yes. So
Mm,
I realized that that's a very unique aspect, like a niche part of relationship that could work in so many facets. And then there are lots of experiences you can share in that area. A young
mm,
person can relate to it, an older person can relate. One of the issues I had initially was it was like I was targeting men,
mm,
my relationship. But I realized that there are certain things you can do that can look like it's a confrontational episode, and you may not get the kind of response you're looking for. So that was when I realized that no, this thing is not
you have
going
to
to work like
balance.
this. I have to put everything together. Yes. So those experiences that I've had, discussions I had with family and friends, helped me to
Mm,
understand that I have to have one circle from which everything is coming. And for me, that
mm,
was communication. So I looked at different challenges that people could have and use um, simple stories to bring it out and then bring back the knowledge or the lesson you're talking about. One of your class, you told us that it's always good to ensure that you maintain the lessons that you want to teach in every chapter. So
yeah.
before I started, I put that lesson out there. So the stories basically were like I put lessons and then started thinking of how to bring the stories together. So that's how I was able to manage that aspect of
Yeah.
narrowing it. So
Okay, amazing. I mean, I know that you did an awesome job. I mean, I've seen part of the book and all of that, so I know for certain that you did a good job with that. I'm just curious, how did the program go for you? What part of it was the best part for you? I mean, knowing that you were here trying to write your first non-academic book, and on a topic that was totally, even though it was not so alien to you, but was kind of new in terms of what you were writing, what you write about. So how was it for you, and how useful was the class for you in that transition?
the class was amazing. In fact, at this junction, I have to give a shout out to my beautiful sister Fulu because when we're thinking about the writing and everything, I just saw a message from you. I was like, how did this thing happen? I've not even put my thoughts together to come here. So it was for me, it was beautiful and it was
Mm,
liberating in a certain kind of way because I learned structure. For me, that was the
mm,
biggest thing I learned, structure and consistency. So everybody can write, but the
mhm,
question is, can you write what people would read and want to read more of your work? Can you
mm,
write something that somebody would pick up and say, this touched my life? So
mm,
I was writing, yes, I could write. And people will say you are a very good writer. In fact,
mm,
one of the time I knew I had something I could write was when I did my first thesis in the UK, and the British guy said, "You're a very good writer." I said, "But I'm coming from Oyibo man. I need to
Crochet.
focus on this thing." So, but it was endless writing, really. So
Mm,
I feel this way, I write it down. It didn't work. But when I came to the class, there was this structure of putting your thoughts together and actually working on a piece. So I learned that. And that's why I was able to do something different from what I've done in the past. Then, secondly, consistency. The challenge to keep to a particular number of words was one of the biggest challenges I had, because I just felt, how am I going to keep up? Like, I am doing all day, and then I come in and you have to deliver a certain number of words. So for me to even be able to cross that boundary of 3,000 words to close to what you wanted us to do, it is the biggest win I have had in a very long time. So yes, the best part for me was being able to structure myself. And I think if you're going to be a good writer, that's something that you actually need to have. If you can, put the structures in place and understand it. I'm not perfect at it, I must say, but it's way better than what it was before. So for me, that was the best part of my training
yeah.
field. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, I see a lot of people say, "Oh, I can't write. I'm too busy," and all of that. And this is why I put together the program in that way, because I am very busy, as
Mm.
you all know, right? So I had to put together a program that worked for me. And I saw that, okay, it can work for, anybody else. So you're very busy too. Because at the end of the day, you're busy does not mean that you will not deliver on the work that God has asked you to do. Do you see? It does not mean that you will not
Exactly.
deliver on that message that He's placed in your heart to share with the world. It doesn't mean that you will not create your book for legacy's sake. Because when women are pushing 40, when they start to push 40 and start to get above 40, they start to think about life in different terms. They're thinking about, okay, so what can I leave behind? Okay, so the kids that have been running up and down for, they are growing, they're leaving the house now. Some are getting to boarding school, some are getting to even university, depending on how early you started. So you're now beginning to think, okay, so what am I really here for? Right? Am I just here to be doing Mrs. for this man and mother to these children? These children are not even needing me like that anymore. So what else can I do in my life? So those questions start to come out, and then you start to realize that, oh, I actually have a lot in me, right? There's a lot that I can share with the world. I have gone through a lot. I've gone through a lot of experiences. I have built a lot of skills. I have learned a lot of things. And yes, it would be good to share this, because even the Bible admonishes us that older women should teach younger women, you know, because it is an age-old way to just pass on this information from one generation to another. So how do you want to teach them? You think you can only teach the small ones in your household? It's not okay. You have to teach everybody in your circle and outside of yourself. So you create a document, because even the Bible is here for us to read today because somebody wrote it down. Do you see? When we think about the first five books of the Bible written by Moses, you will not be wondering that. But Moses, sir, you were not born in the beginning. Do you see?
Exactly. Exactly.
You were not born. We know when you were born in the old story. We've read the Bible.
I've
So
read the story,
how is it
so
that you're the one that wrote? So he wrote the Bible through revelation. All of
sure.
these parts were revealed to him by God. So yeah, write it down. Yeah, thank you. Put it together somewhere so my people can read these accounts as I have given to you. So God gives us revelation, right?
True.
Apart from your experiences that you're supposed to document, there's also
Mm.
revelation sometimes and says, this is a new way of doing something. And then you get it and you feel it and say, oh, you need to share it. So, no, like I said, exactly, Temitayo, business is not an excuse. We cannot agree. We cannot say we're too busy. We cannot say we are too, I don't even know how to explain it. You cannot be too busy. You cannot. It's not okay. Because the Lord Jesus Christ, was very busy, but he did the work of the Father.
Fulfill purpose.
Ah,
True.
he did it. The man died at 33. He did the work he was sent for. So what are you busy doing? Do you understand? Nobody knows how long you have. You don't know how long you have. Some people will die at 70, some people die at 80, some people die at 96, some people will die at 106. You don't know. Do you see? So now that you are here, you must do the work while it is daytime. You must be able to drop everything that is within you and drop it for the world. And that really is the whole message of this Rise to Write. Is the whole message. I just want people to know, this is what this is what we're talking about. Come and share your message with the world. And if you don't know how, let's help you. That's what it is. We don't know how to do it. Let us help you because you have a message. That you don't have a message is a lie. You have a message. If we drill deep, I mean, and that's why nowadays, so when we're teaching the course now, we use a framework. So the framework is clarify, create, brand, and publish. I recently added the fifth one, amplify. But the first one is that clarify. We sit down and we clarify what your message is, what your core message is. Because at the end of the day, before you start to write a book, what do you want to be known for? You don't want to write a book that you don't want to be identified with. Do you see? Because your book is your business card. Your book goes ahead of you and tells people who you are. So you don't want to write a book that you are ashamed to advertise. You don't write a book that you want to distance yourself from. No, you don't want to do that. You want to write a book that you can tell people that, oh, by the way, I talk about XYZ, I teach about this and this and that. And here's my book. Now, when they read your book, I went for a program one day. My office sent me for a program, a training program. And the facilitator was so good. Man, I was like, who is this guy, man? Your brain is all this fire, is everything. So I now told him that, oh, I really like the way he taught us. And I had a book that I wanted to share with him. So it was that I just started, I just written it at the time and I gave it to him. And the guy called me. I didn't even think he would read it. I just thought he would just say thank you and go. He called me. He was like, oh my God, madam, are you a coach? I said, yeah, kind of. He said, yes. He said, we didn't think I was wondering. He said, what? How does this woman know this thing she's writing down here? That this is too much. He said, we need to work together. I will call you for some of my trainings. I like, that's really the point, sir. But thank you for
That's the
noticing.
point, sir.
You know, and that is what a book does for you, right? It just shows what you can do. It just goes ahead of you to explain what your competence is, and then people can now take it from there. Do you see? So you cannot sit down and be saying you cannot write, you cannot write, you cannot write, you don't have time, you don't. It's not okay. If you're even building a business, all the more reason why you should write a book. If you are building a business, you should create thought leadership around that your business, that your industry. So people will sit down and look at it, it's only this woman will buy from because she knows what she's talking about.
Exactly.
Reason I should write a book. Create thought leadership around that your work, what you do in the office. Even your office people will give you promotion. Do you see? You will create thought leadership. You'll be talking on LinkedIn. You will be going for even channels. They'll be calling you on TV to talk. Your office will take notes and give you promotion. You think they will say, why is she going up? And what time she's they will be tripping because you are delivering on their work. And you're
Exactly.
still
I'm
delivering on your
promoting
life.
them as well.
And they are thinking, who is this person? Wow. That's what it is. They will be so amazed. I'm in a full-time job, 9 to 5. Today, when I was at the handover ceremony, we're talking on, and they were like, I was like, hey, how's it going? Someone I said, today is Tuesday, you have that your life. I was like, oh, I wanted to faint. I was like, how do you know this? I was completely unrelated. I was looking, and he's a man. I looked at him like, people are watching, people are looking. My lives are 7 o'clock. I'm not using your office time to do it. Do you see? But they are watching, they're saying, and they're happy that you have a life outside the office, a thriving life. They are actually appreciating it. And when it's time, and this year I got promoted. They promoted me, they give me this, give me this, give me that. I'm just looking like, you would think that they would feel like I'm not doing their work. I'm doing their work because I'm delivering on their work. My goals are being met in the office, and my goals are being met outside because hello, we are children of God. We have, superpowers like that. Absolutely. So I don't want you to box yourself in and say, oh, I don't have time. And that's just a myth I want to bust today. You know, Dr. Barisale is a very busy professional, as you can imagine. It's not easy to be an academic because as you are teaching, you are giving assignments, you are marking assignments, you mark an exam, you will do. Please just tell us what it is a day in your life. Just give us a glimpse of a day in the life of an academic, please. Because people may be looking at you like maybe you're a primary school teacher now that you close at 4, you go home and go and sleep. I want them to understand. They need to understand how busy your life is, and are able to still sit down and write a book that is going to change generations. I need you to just give us a little bit. And please don't give me a bridge version or give me blow by blow.
Okay, so actually, when I got into the academic sector, I was looking for a place where I could have time. So that's usually the
They lie
myth
to you.
people have.
They
Yes.
lie to you.
They will tell you, I'm telling you, they'll tell you that go into the teaching profession, you have time.
Mm,
And I
mm,
actually went in with that mindset. And the
mhm,
truth is, do you want to grow or you do not want to grow? The truth is, if
mhm,
you want to grow, you have to put in
mhm,
the work. So I started out as a regular teacher or lecturer that you teach, you
mm,
mark scripts, you give assignments. But
mm,
as the years, go on, when you get to certain levels, you begin to add administrative work. Right now, I'm the postgraduate coordinator of a center for water
mhm.
and sanitation studies. It's actually the first center in Nigeria, and
Wow.
yes, and it talks more on water hygiene,
Okay.
sanitation, bringing water to your table, basically. So
Mm.
dealing with SDG 6, which is clean water and sanitation. So I'm not just doing the regular
During work. Oh.
8 to 5 job anymore. So
Mhm,
these days I carry my work to the house. So I come
mhm.
in when I have my lectures, I take my lectures, and it's postgraduate. So it's not like you're dealing with children. You have to, if you're delivering a lecture, you really need to deal with
You
it
will come
because
correct.
I'm teaching professionals that
You will
are
come
doing
correct.
the work.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So you have to
Yes.
take your time and read, you have to be up to date. Then you also have to manage your emotions in
Mm,
such a way that you leave your drama in your house or in the
mm,
next
mm,
office. So there's a
mm,
lot going on at the same time, and then you don't have to do administrative work. So as a coordinator, there are so many things you need to do. You have to
mm,
check what is happening. You have to check on the students. You have to check on the lecturers. You have to, so it's so much right now. I used to
mm.
be very good with texting people, calling people, but my life
Checking
right
on
now
them.
is
Omo.
so busy.
You are the one
But
that needs checking on right now.
yeah, I'm telling you. But the writing is beautiful because it's like an escape.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come in, you just drop everything and then you go into a different zone. So yes, no matter
Mm.
how busy you are, you just need to um, tell yourself, I want to do this and take the baby steps and then you begin to do it. So if it's been busy, yes, I'm super busy. And I have 5 children, by the way. So it's not just them.
Yeah, I was feeling like a G that I have 4 children. Oh, must see my senior,
So it's
five-star
not
general.
just the work. When you come back from the office, you have to start all over again. And these
Mm.
days we are being intentional parents. So
Sure,
you
the
you
work is
you you
not
have
double
to
too.
you have to take your time and listen when they say something. So it's a lot of,
Mm.
but through all that busyness, you can actually find time to write
Okay.
something, yes,
So
beautiful.
your student is on YouTube, Lillian Iwoha. She said, absolutely,
Uh,
she's always very busy. She's my lecturer. Lillian, we see you. Thanks for joining the call today.
Lillian.
And that's the truth. So this is what I tell people that, we can't use busy as an excuse again. No time, no
Mm,
time. Sorry, I live in Lagos. So add all I do to Lagos traffic to all I do. You can imagine that,
imagine.
it's just not easy. But
It's
we will
not.
not, because it's not easy, now not do the work that the Father have sent us to do. I need you to realize
Exactly.
now that everything that you're doing, everything that you feel the push to do, feel the urge to do, you feel like, oh, and it's God that is talking to you. It's not even me now. It's not that you're saying, oh, we want to write because Brenda said we should come and write. Let's be clear. I'm coming to help you because the Father has told you to do something and you are thinking that you don't know
And I have
how
to
to.
do it.
So I'm trying to give you the how so that you don't commit sin because you're not doing it. Can you read that passage in the Bible and they say, if you know what to do and you don't do it, you have committed sin. I will look for the passage and show it. I'm
Exactly.
not even joking with you guys. The day I read
Mm,
that in the kind code that catch me, I was like, hey. So I'm just
mm,
trying to help you to avoid sin because you know what to do. The Holy Spirit has spoken to you. They told you to write this thing. You have received it, you've heard it many times. People say you write beautifully, or even if they say you don't write beautifully, they say you are very knowledgeable about X, Y, and Z. You should
mm,
share your knowledge.
mm.
You're busy telling yourself, I'm busy, and not now. Okay, maybe next year. Okay, see, I don't. I'm not even here to tell you to start this year or next year. I'm just letting you know that if you know what to do and you don't do it, you have committed a sin. Maybe you're not worried about committing sin, Sha, but me, I am. So just say I should tell you people. So anyway, so thank you so much, Lillian. Lillian, she said you say you're her mentor. Now, wow, this kind Lillian is
Yes, so
giving us.
she's my special student. That's the one of the perks of this our work. You get to
Yeah,
meet madams that call you mentor, madams that call you my lecturer. I used to
I'm
tell them
telling you,
when you want to cheat me, you call me madam. Don't call me madam. So it's beautiful. She's a
it
wonderful
is,
lady,
it
and I
is. I can
appreciate her
imagine that it's beautiful.
very
So tell us
much. Yeah.
about your book. Tell us about your book. What's the title? What's it about? And you know, just tell us.
Okay. So my book is the title is Through Her Eyes. So
Mm,
it's a book that talks about a woman's perspective to a man. So one
mm.
of the issues we have with communication is that we don't speak the same words, men and women. And
And they
then
say
you
men are
find
from
out that
Mars, women are from Venus. Have
I'm
you how did they
telling
put it?
you, it's amazing. So we are saying the same thing in different forms. And
Mm,
I wanted to speak to a man and let him understand his wife's perspective because
mm.
women are more complex. So it's very challenging. Men are logical, so they can just tell you this and this.
Bang,
Men
bang, bang.
compartmentalize their things. We want to
Mm.
talk about school fees. Let's talk about school fees, and then
You
they move to the
understand?
next thing. But a woman will talk about school fees and talk about feeding, and the man sometimes is confused. So
He can't keep up.
I yes,
It's
I
like,
felt
madam,
that
stay one place.
I'm telling you. I said I needed to
Meanwhile,
look
we are
at
keeping up. Oh. We are
no, we are
keeping up
keeping
because we're
up
telling
very well.
as we are
Very
swinging
well.
from one to the other, we're
I'm
like,
telling
oh, God, keep
you.
up now.
Exactly. So sometimes you find out that you can get upset about something that has no basis for being upset about.
Mm,
And
mm,
I use the concept of 9 and 6. So there's a theory
mm,
that if we are sitting opposite ourselves and I write a 9, I'm seeing a 9, you're seeing a 6. And the
mm.
bad thing is I cannot convince you you're seeing a 6 because obviously you're seeing a 9, even if I wrote it down.
Do
So
you get?
somebody has to give. Somebody
Mm.
has to say, okay, let me come to
And turn
your own
around and come
side
and see what you're
exactly
seeing.
and see what you're
Mm,
saying. Yeah, so I felt that giving playful stories, fun stories, and chipping in some sort of seriousness will help the husbands to understand their wives, what they are thinking. And while I was doing that, I got into that theory part I was talking about, and it also helped me to understand my own spouse because
absolutely.
I realized that some of the things I have held against him, I mean, I had no business to. I actually
He had no
understood
clue.
some of the
The guy had no
confusion in
clue.
the man's face.
The guy had no clue. He's like,
So the
madam,
book,
what are you talking about?
I'm telling you. So the book is actually a very beautiful piece to help us, understand that we are different, and the beauty is appreciating our differences and
Mm.
knowing the kind of communication skills to use to be able to bridge that gap. So basically, in a nutshell, that's what the book is about.
I love it. I love it. I completely love it. I mean, I have to buy it for my husband, although I will still be the one to read it out loud because he's not going to. But it is really a very, see what I was saying, when we started talking, I didn't even see what I was saying about, taking a broad topic and finding a way to add to the existing body of knowledge. Now, there have been all kinds of things said about relationship. There's always the talk about in-laws and relationship. This one in relationship, single, married, that, what to check before you're married, what to check when you're married, what all kinds of things. Like there's a huge literature bank. And it's also another huge literature bank on communication. But here you have just, simplified it and narrowed your niche into something that you see as in need because all of us struggle with this thing. Like, uncle, you're not hearing us.
I'm telling
Why are you not
you.
hearing me? I'm speaking English. How can you not understand? And it would help. So I mean, I remember when I heard that the Gov Kunluluge wrote the wife manual, I was so upset. I was like, women have spent so many years being told what to do. We don't need another manual. Go and give the men a manual. We is not no. I was ready to take up arms, but of course, it's our
It's a
coaches husband.
placard. Say
So we have to
no.
respect ourselves. But he listened and he did say that he was already working on the second version, which was simply the husband's manual, which is how to understand your wife. And I thought it was brilliant. when you always do things like that that balance each other is really beautiful. And I mean,
Exactly.
I love that you've written this, and I hope that a man wants somewhere someday will pick it up, you know,
Mm.
explain to us through his eyes. It will be nice, wouldn't it?
Yes, yes,
Or
yes, it
perhaps
is.
you can take it up to maybe interview a bunch of men and gather
Yes,
their stories together.
I thought of that being a sequel because
Mm,
the beauty about every niche is a balance. Like I said
absolutely.
earlier, let it not look like it's you're targeting a particular audience. And
Hmm.
if you need to understand through my eyes, I also need to understand through your own eyes. So
Mm,
yes, it's one of the things. In fact, I started a series recently on WhatsApp on fathers because this month was dedicated to fathers. So it was
mm,
just a way of getting some of the thoughts out there and
mm.
then bringing a connect to spouse, husband, and then, husband, wife, and children. And I felt that that was going to be a nice way to connect his. It's either you work in collaboration with somebody or myself, but it's something that's flashed my mind. So
It's
mentioning
it's
it
it's
now, I
it's
think I'll
completely
look at
beautiful.
it well.
It's completely beautiful. In fact, I'm even thinking that, even this through your eyes would help even women, you see, because um we are going to even see how confusing our
We can be
communication is.
sometimes, exactly.
We are going to see how confusing our communication can be because sometimes half of things we are saying is in our head. And people like me that talk
Yes.
fast, I have that problem.
Mm.
My children are the ones that have taught me. They say, Mommy, you did not say that. I said, What are you saying? I
You
said,
didn't complete it.
Am I foolish? You think I don't know what I'm talking about? Mommy, but I was right
Exactly.
here. You didn't say that. And in my head, because my head is running faster than my mouth. So my head
Mm.
has said it, and my mouth
Yes,
didn't follow. And I'm thinking,
exactly.
keep up now. I not.
Mm.
And the
I think
people,
that's
children
another
nowadays,
beauty of
they don't
writing
even, they
because
don't even leave you. They don't even leave you. They don't even give any chill. So they just tell me
any
straight up, you
chill,
do not say
chill.
it's mommy, forget that thing. Maybe my husband would have left me for peace to reign. But the children are telling me now, they're giving me hot hot. So I'm learning to, calm down, speak clearly
You
and
can bring
slowly,
it out,
so I can
exactly.
communicate. Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. You know, I love it. But I mean, so this your book is completely and totally useful for all of us, and that's beautiful. So tell us, are you done publishing, or you're still in the process of publishing? When can we get the book? Because see, like this now, me, I'm already interested. I want to read.
I'm still wrapping it up. So in a few months we'll be done and you'll be the
Mm.
first to know, ma.
All right. So we'll continue the conversation in the backyard, but
Exactly.
but no problem. So thank you so much for coming today. It's been an amazing conversation with you. I know that I promised to take only 1 hour of your time. I don't want to take too much of your time. But before you go, and if anybody is just joining now, this is Women's Matters. It comes to you every Tuesday from the Women's Growth Academy, and it's here live on YouTube, 7 p.m. WAT. That's Nigerian time. Now, we always have a host of guests, different guests from different walks of life. And this month, we're taking a series called Rise to Write. We're talking to writers, women who have, just done amazing things from writing. Like ordinary women, right? Real women are not necessarily writers, so to speak, who writing has transformed their lives in different ways and shown them new paths and new horizons. So we've had 2 other episodes before this one. You can catch the replay on our YouTube. But before we go, Dr. Parisiale, I'd like you to give us one last words for for the audience. If you wanted them to remember one thing from everything that you said today, what would that be?
That would be that um, there should always be empathy for me
Mm,
when you're dealing with people. Because empathy for me has been one of the things that brings a lot of things together. I say empathy because if you understand where somebody is coming from, it helps
mm,
you communicate better. If you understand a subject matter, you can write about it better. If you
mm,
put yourself in a story, it may not be your story, but you can tell the story so well that people can actually buy into it. And that
mm,
can only happen if if you have empathy. So if you want to be a writer, or you want
Mm,
to be a good communicator, or you want to pass any message. I mean, we all pass messages every day. I think
mm.
the most important ingredient is empathy. And some people have it naturally, but it can also be learned. So I encourage everybody to learn empathy so that anything
Mhm.
that you want to do comes out beautifully. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I love
that's mm,
I love it. And especially if we remember the 6-9 principle that she shared earlier, you know, in simple terms, look at the other person's side,
mm,
right? Understand where the other person is coming from. And that is one beautiful thing that has helped my marriage. You know,
mm,
sometimes when we are always like, "Ah, why is this person so obtuse? Like, why can't you
mm.
understand this simple thing? You know, because you were brought up differently from the person. Completely different life that somebody has lived like almost 30 years or more in another
Really.
environment. You come and that 30 years in your own environment, and you're coming together and you're thinking, was he raised by your mother? I don't understand. It's a different person. So
True.
when you understand where people are coming from, you can make excuses for their, inadequacies or
Exactly.
whatever looks to you like inadequacy, because it may not be
It
inadequacy, it
may
may just
not
be
be that
difference,
exactly.
right? It may
Mm.
just be difference. So you can make excuses for their differences and then, understand better and be able to communicate better and meet each other in the middle. So that, my dear friends, if you have not learned anything today, learn that and become a better communicator. So says Dr. Barisi Ali Barano. I love it. Thank you so much for coming. You are such a sight for so eyes. So beautiful today. I love your smile, love your hair, love your makeup. I'm like, this woman coming to
Thank you,
shine me
Ma,
on
for
my
having
on
me.
my
And
on
we
my
are we are
own
swinging today. I
on
didn't
my
know
own
we'll do
show.
blacks.
I'm
In
like,
fact,
I love it. Thank you
thank you
so
so
much
much
for
for
coming.
having me.
It's been an amazing time today. And guys, see you next